Watch brands use a designer to create a new product. When we start creating a product, we have a brief, some rules, and a designer so that everything's clear. The first thing a designer has to do, before making sketches or big, beautiful designs, is to understand the constraints and get familiar with them. We make a list of them. Okay, there's this, there's that, materials, water resistance, the size, the thickness. Thickness is a real problem today, because the movements keep getting bigger. So first you have to understand the constraints you're up against, but then you can let your mind start to play. Ideas are the most powerful element today. It's not the designs or the products, but the ideas that count. We've always said that. It's magic because each person can interpret an idea. My first tools are my pencils, my paper, and my thinking cap. The first things I think about are the words. Always. It's always about words, lists of words. I think about the meetings we've had, the people who were there, and I remember the key words that kept coming up. For example, it's round. So I say to myself, it's a round watch. Then it's about the paper, pencils, sketches, gear trains, and little diagrams, maybe about the construction, for instance, or the movement, which requires special thought. What is this movement? How will it affect what I end up with? Then come the displays. Ah, there's a new hour display, new shape. Perhaps we could develop a new shape for the crystal. When I present, the entire construction's already in place. And then comes the case. How are we going to build it and dismantle it? How are we going to repair it and how shall we finish it? Then I think about each specialist who will work on the watch. This is very, very important. It's all about suggesting, then checking. When you have the drawings or a model, you keep asking, how are we going to finish the horns? How will we repair them? What qualities do you need to become a designer? I don't think that there's that many. The most important thing I'd say is to be curious, always curious, about everything. It could be about a garden chair, a building, a pair of glasses or a jumper. You always need to be asking yourself questions. Always wondering why and how in absolute terms. You want to understand, why does a glass have this diameter? Because it fits the size of our hands. It all starts very simply like that. I think understanding comes from asking questions. It's about common sense. Once you understand something, you can express it. Then you can move on and overturn style codes. How can you overturn a code if you don't understand it? I think this is one of the most important missions of a designer, particularly when working with watch brands. The world's changing, it's always moving on, and each brand wants to be part of that change. But how is it changing exactly? You have to understand it, then bring it to the brand. We have to read the signs of the times. I always wanted to be a designer. It was like a very early dream I had. I dreamt about drawing, a table, an object. Designing things has always fascinated me. I was still quite young when I realized that everything I see, everything I use, has been designed and thought through. And that's still an extraordinary thing, even in our modern world.